This is one of those messages that I have no idea where it's going, but I know just by how I feel that I had to get on here and speak. My name is Stacey Patrice. Welcome and welcome back to my channel. And on this evening, I have been feeling so of another world so much recently. Like I've always been, a little on the fringes, like, on the outskirts. I always been an outlier. I always had a different way of doing things, never really cared about what it looked like to other people, but just that people respect and receive me as me. And that's all I've ever cared about is that just allow the space for other people to exist as a formational tenet about how to live your life, to each his and her own or their own. And I've been feeling so much recently that I'm a part of this really big group now. It used to be a very small group, or, you know, over the years, as I have stood stronger in who it is I know myself to be, some other people have been developing into who they understood or found out that they actually were. And so now this group is really big. And then some of the people have been just like me. They've been standing on it. They've been knowing this about themselves for so long. But what's really fascinating to me, and I had an experience last night at an art show that just really brought this forward. And it's really just like, how much time do you spend in the astral? How much time do you spend not just consulting the stars in an astrological perspective, not just communing with the ancestors in that perspective, not just being out in nature, just in that perspective, not just staring up at the sky, not just in prayer or meditation, not just in your practices, but how much time do you allow your identity that you know is far bigger than your body can hold to be incorporated into your life? How much of it do you draw down? How much of it do you pull into your life, into your existence? And I'm asking this because it's showing up in so many different ways, not just in my life, but in the life of the other people that I've been talking to, where we're all talking about how open the field is. How open it is for us to be exactly who we are. This is a very unique point in time in my feeling estimation. It doesn't mean that and I'm not talking about anything I've looked at astrologically. This is all feeling. Sometimes I go astral and sometimes I go intuitive. This is all feeling. Like this unique point in time is so palpable. It's very intangible, the results, but it's very palpable in the sense that I can truly and totally feel how different life is becoming. I think many of us will find ourselves unrecognizable to our former selves, but also nostalgic of the self that we began as, that we might have felt before we didn't have the space or allowance to be. There's something about the past and reaching from the past and pulling forward that curiosity, that childlike innocence, but with wisdom, drawing down this cosmic identity and wisdom and messaging and influx of just fascination and feeling mesmerized by how vast this world is and how little of it we focus on in these more social, physical, and kind of finite terms. It's so easy to just like focus on what's before us or to just react to what's already happened. But what we're talking about is a stage of design. That's what I'm talking about. This is a stage of design. We are literally designing. I told someone earlier today, good friend of mine, shout out to Rob. I said, I'm a bricklayer. Okay. I'm, I'm a bricklayer. I'm building this thing brick by brick and not brick by brick in the more popular term of that, where people are like, yep, we're going to get to the success. We're going to get to this American dream. It's Stacy's dream, right? It's Stacy's dream. It may not be American. It may not be, one that everyone can relate to, but I am darn sure building Stacy's dream. Because Stacy's dream has already been in motion through Stacy's life, right? I've never been thinking, how can I live my life for other people's dreams? That's just never been a part of my protocol. But and if you're here and you're still listening, I'm sure you're similar, right? There's just this idea that who we are belongs to something else that other people dictate. But I want you to go beyond human. I want you to go beyond like this physical thing. You know, I talk about soul capacity. I talk about soul healing. I talk about living as a soul, being expressed as a soul. And I'm not just saying that. It's not a buzzword for me. That's not something I just throw up on this channel to just talk about from time to time. True all the way to the core. Your soul is such an important facet of your identity. And to not pay attention to that is such a crime because your soul is constantly sending you messaging. It's constantly trying to get you to animate what it knows, what it came here to do, what it's trying to show, what it's trying to be. And it's like we have such a mental fixation on lining things up, organizing things and getting things right and editing and making sure that what it is that we're looking at and what it is we're thinking about sounds the right way. And it's like, that is such a trauma response to being physical because your mind is not your master, but your tool. And so many people live with their mind as their master. Like they are subservient to the big boss, which is their mind. And even as a person who is intellectual or scholarly or a studier, a researcher, a teacher, an educator, a student, even to a person that's that way, it still has to be a tool. So there comes this responsibility where you have to emerge, where you have to stand up and stand on your own too and be like, hey, this is what I'm doing for me. This is what I'm doing for me. I know nobody else may not understand it, but this is what I'm doing for me. And that's the era I feel like we are in. It's like now or never. Like either you stand on it and build it now, or if you don't, you will look up and you'll be like, man, that time where I was so worried about X, Y, and Z, and I felt this happening and that happening, I wasn't taking care of business back there. We can't afford that. And that's why I'm making this message, not because you need to know what's going on with me, but because I need us. We need us. We all benefit when we are building the things that mean the most, just from the standpoint of the calling. And again, the calling is multifaceted. The calling is not this one pointed, narrow thing. The calling is like, it's got dynamic elements and arms and pieces and aspects. And the calling keeps calling. The calling doesn't get tired of calling you, it keeps calling. And then there's this element of timing. And the element of timing says, ooh, this call at this time equals success. And this is what's happening. I just wanted to share that. I don't want to wax too much on that today. I knew I was feeling something special today, felt something special yesterday, last couple of days, and it's been building. I've just been feeling more and more at ease with it, but also like irritated at things that are trying to interrupt or insert themselves inside of this continuum. So annoying, right? Like you don't belong here. There's a stream of consciousness happening. Stay with it, stick with it. As that has been happening, I have been feeling zero shortage of inspiration. There's been so much inspiration. There's been so many messages, so even the dreams, the dream layer, just the conversational layer, just the identification of people that you just realize, they've been there all along. I'm looking at the clock, 11:11 as I'm saying this. It's just you can't make this up. 11:12 is next, so it's all good either way. But I'm just saying to myself, it's so beautiful of a time. If you can just stay in that vibration and stay focused on that, I promise you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't know prior to today, and if you have been feeling this and you do know what I'm talking about, I'm sure we got to keep these practices going. My name is Stacey Patrice. Yes, I'm a yogini and I have practices, I have systems, I have know-how, I have desire, I have connection, I have inspiration, I have creativity. I have all of these things that I have to tend to. I also have family. I'm also a mother. I have things that I have to do, right? And being a mother, a daughter, a friend, a sister, like all of these things are important. But I just wanted to say that whatever it is that is the prototype for the kind of life that you know, even if you don't talk to other people about it, that you know you came here to live. The time is now. Don't let this summer slip away. If you're in another country, don't let this season slip away, right? Don't let this period between where we are now in June all the way through like October be very, very, very intuitive, intentional, and in tune with what you're doing that is going to grow and expand during this time. I feel so grateful for the teachers, for the friends, for the work, for the insights that I have during this time. And I just want to say it is true that you can be new. It is true that you can be new. Give it your best. Right now, there's a lot of anxiety that I've been hearing from people about just being who they are. You know how just a couple of seasons ago, a couple of years ago, everybody was talking about imposter syndrome? Well, what if I told you that wasn't imposter syndrome, that was preparation for you to be in this season to be who you are? It's why I never accepted that terminology. It was like we're always evolving and becoming. So if there is a period where we feel like imposters, that might mean we're early to the game. It could also mean that we haven't quite caught up to our vision, but we're going to follow the vision anyway, and we'll catch up, which gives us a lot of like, unrest sometimes because you're like having to think on your feet and in real time. But if you already live your life that way, then it's not that big of a deal. It's like, yep, put those muscles to work. Be who you are, engage who you are, and show up as you are. And know that not only is it enough, but people are waiting on it. People can sense it and feel it from you, and that it won't even be a surprise, actually. It'll be the next natural step because that's what this period is. It'll be the next natural step. Like whatever it is that you've been about, you haven't revealed what's next, but people can feel what's next. And they can feel it because you've kind of been on a trajectory, and as wild and as churning and turning as it's been for you, it's right in alignment with what's next as you progress. So don't get caught up in having to explain, having to overly demonstrate, do, you know, sit in that sweet spot. Just pause for a moment instead of like, trying to do so much. Sit in that sweet spot that's talking to you about where all of those doings are coming from. And let that be what you lead with. That's all I'm gonna say. Grand new moon to you. Um, and yeah, we've spent a lot of time letting go this year. We have some pretty big letting go this moments. Had two last month. We've had some pretty big letting go moments. So trust yourself and know that when the timing and the vision align, then you have to feel your way forward. And even if you're not deep into your feelings and you're deep into the mental or deep into the doing or deep into the right way, even some of that can relax because the right way is internally manufactured. It's divinely manufactured. It's not something you can overly prepare for because the right way is doing it in the right time and as the right identity of yourself. And it is 100% only right for you. Like, share, subscribe, comment, please, if this resonates. And I look forward to talking with you all soon. Peace.